Their tongues are crimson flaming, their haunted blue eyes gleam, and they strain them to the utmost, over frozen lake and stream. Their cry one note of agony, that is neither yelp nor bark, these partners of the northern waste, who hound them to the dark. The Werewolves, by Wilfred Campbell, 1858 through 1918. Yes, the werewolf. That powerful creature, half man, half wolf, cursed to wander as a beast by the light of a full moon. The werewolf is a widespread concept in European folklore, existing in many variants which are related by a common development of a Christian interpretation of underlying European folklore which developed during the medieval period. From the early modern period, werewolf beliefs also spread to the New World with colonialism. Belief in werewolves developed in parallel to the belief in witches in the course of the late Middle Ages and the early modern period. Like the witchcraft trials as a whole, the trial of supposed werewolves emerged in what is now Switzerland in the early 15th century and spread throughout Europe in the 16th century, peaking in the 17th century and subsiding by the 18th century. The persecution of werewolves and the associated folklore is an integral part of the witch hunt phenomenon, albeit a marginal one, accusations of werewolfery being involved in only a small fraction of witchcraft trials. During the early period, accusations of lycanthropy, otherwise known as transformation into a wolf, were mixed with accusations of wolf riding or wolf charming. After the end of the witch trials, the werewolf became of interest in folklore studies and in the emerging Gothic horror genre. Werewolf fiction as a genre has pre-modern precedents in medieval romances and developed in the 18th century out of the semi-fictional chapbook tradition. The trappings of horror literature in the 20th century became part of the horror and fantasy genre of modern pop culture. Most modern fiction describes werewolves as vulnerable to silver weapons and highly resistant to other injuries. This feature appears in German folklore of the 19th century. The claim that the beast of Gevaudan, an 18th century wolf or wolf-like creature, was shot by a silver bullet appears to have been introduced by novelists retelling the story from 1935 onwards and not in earlier versions. Although centralized to European nations, the act of lycanthropy is a commonplace mythology with Native American folklore. This belief is known in many tribes including the Mohawk, Navajo, and Hopi, to name a few. These lycanthropes are often referred to as skinwalkers. In some versions of the tradition, a skinwalker's tongue would be black, proof that their soul was poisoned. It was also believed that becoming a skinwalker was caused by dark forces, and that a person that becomes one was believed to have done something immoral to attract that darkness. In other traditions, a skinwalker didn't take just one form, they took many, such as owls, crows, and coyotes, with the most common form being a wolf. While in animal form, the skinwalker lost all trace of humanity, with the beast and animal instincts taking over, making them vicious and unpredictable. Other versions suggest that, while in animal form, a skinwalker would actually be much more intelligent, additionally being able to read minds and could lure people out of their homes and into the woods by imitating the voices and cries of loved ones. Over the centuries, the mythology of werewolves has been modernized to fantastical beasts, boasting a plethora of alternative depictions in many forms of media. The mythology of werewolves is, by far, one of my favorites of the Halloween season, and continues to attract people of all ages, so the next time you look up at a full moon, be sure to let out a haunting howl. Once again, I want to thank you for joining us on this very special Halloween creature feature minicast series. I appreciate all of the continued support, and stay tuned for our final episode in which we will be discussing the history of witches. So keep a lookout for that video being uploaded on Halloween night. I want to thank you all again for allowing me to give you some insight and history into the legend of werewolves. And just as always, happy hauntings.